let's have a look at a few of the restaurants of town. There's so many choices in Munich that we'll just kind of skip through a few of them and show you some typical restaurants. The cuisine, of course, is excellent any place you go. The prices are very similar to what you find at home. So for dinner, it might cost you $25, $30, depending on what you're drinking, of course, or if you're having an appetizer and dessert. But if you just have the main entree, typically it's about $20. Another nice restaurant we found, it's just near the Hofbrauhaus, is called Zum Durnbräu. And you can eat outdoors, very peaceful garden-like setting in front of this historic old building. Or you can go into the inside for a little bit more of a raucous experience. Either way, Zum Durnbräu is a very nice, typical local restaurant. And always the main kind of meat here you'll find is pork. Well, while we're enjoying the ambience of the inside of this restaurant, I'll tell you about a few other restaurants you might consider. A couple of expensive places with excellent food. Böttner restaurant, quite famous, along with Kay's Bistro. And then there are several restaurants in the major five-star hotels in town that are quite excellent. So not only can you get good draft beer in these numerous bars, you can get some tasty foods as well. We're having a look at another restaurant. This is the Weißes Brauhaus, another famous spot in Munich. You can eat out on the sidewalk terrace if you like, have some fabulous beer, or you can eat inside in their rustic wooden interior. They have that traditional Bavarian menu, of course, with lots of sausages and meat and potatoes and sauerkrauts, dumplings. You can get the pig's knuckles if you like, and a nice variety of their house beer. What a great setting. The Weißes Brauhaus. But the foods of Germany are not only meat and potatoes. You can get a wide variety of European cuisines, some great Italian foods, and they do have a number of vegetarian restaurants. For example, Prince Myshkin here on Hackenstrasse, just near the Assam Kirche, not far from the Marienplatz in the center of town. Vegetarian restaurant with a nice wide range of kinds of food served. Some of it is very rich, others you can get a light salad, and a very nice modern decor here at the Prince Myshkin. Minimalist nouveau design, bright, airy, a lot of space in there. And it's in a very nice part of town. It leads directly back into the pedestrian zone. You will often find yourself coming back to the center. Right near the Rathaus, there is a variety of other eateries. There's the marketplace with the takeout stands, the Rathaus Tower and its fountain out in front. This is a major subway station here at the Marienplatz. The U-Bahn is right downstairs. While the building looks old, they call it the New City Hall, the Neues Rathaus, because the old Rathaus here is next door, also on Marienplatz, that predates the towers of the Neues Rathaus. It was built in the 19th century to look very old. And then it was bombed out in World War II, was flattened, and rebuilt from many of the same bricks and stones in that grand old style. A lot of Munich was rebuilt in that same way after the war. Many of these buildings you see here are actually fairly new. They were concerned when they first rebuilt them in the 1950s that they looked too new. But soon enough, the aging effect took place, and now they look just as old as they were originally. On the Opera Square here, Josephplatz, listen to some celestial music in the courtyard of the residence. The residence palace that we took you into earlier in the program often hosts these outdoor concerts. Especially on a summer evening, it's truly a delightful experience. Nice and cool, good acoustics here. They also have a theater inside, and adjacent is the Opera House. They're very serious about their music here in Munich, and they also like to have some lighthearted fun with their music in the beer halls. playing the spoons. Good formula for sleeping well, stay up late, and have a few beers. Next morning, it's another meal. We're up for breakfast at the hotel. It's always nice and easy to have breakfast at your hotel, and it's nearly always included in European room rates. They put on a big buffet spread. We've got rolls and toast, and we've got different kinds of croissants and sesame buns, and then there's little fillings. Here's a ham salad you could put in there with it, and a yogurt, and there's of course the cold cuts, different kinds of meats and cheeses, and in addition we have some nice breakfast eggs, scrambled eggs, bacon, ham, delicious ham, really fantastic stuff. And then on the other side, I'll show you some of the fruits and the juices that you can get. And we've got some fresh juice. There's orange juice, apple juice, tomato juice, different kinds of fruits, and cereals. Down at the other end, there's nice whole grain cereals or wheat flakes, and some yogurts. There's some water, so this should be enough to get your day started pretty well here at the Platzl Hotel in Munich. The city population is just 1.3 million, but it's enough to support this very extensive rapid transit system. And so for fun, we take a ride. You don't really need to ride the subways when you're visiting in Munich because most things are centrally located in the old town and you can just simply walk. But sometimes you might find a need to take a subway. A single ride will cost you about $2. But you can buy a strip ticket, and then that's a little bit of a discount. And you can also buy a one-day travel card for about $6. The tickets are also good on the bus system, and free transfers are included. Underneath the Karlsplatz is a big shopping mall, and there's a very clean public toilet there. It's not always easy to find public toilets in Europe, but Germany, they take care of you. Passing through the Karlstor, looking down the main pedestrian promenade of the city, the Karlstor is one of the ancient medieval gates, a remnant of the old wall from the Middle Ages that surrounded the city. And there's a big fountain. The Karlsplatz is a major transportation hub as well. Hotels and restaurants all around it. And a big department store called Hertie. Very modern on the inside. And a little tip, here's a place you could buy a picnic lunch to go. They have a good food court with takeout service, or you can eat there and bring it out and sit on a park bench maybe, or out on the mall for some people watching while you have your lunch. Many of the old buildings have been reconstructed just as they were originally before the damage of World War II. Munich was about half leveled during the war. A terrible tragedy for the world, but they've certainly bounced back. Another gate is the Isttor. It's the only tower surviving from the Middle Ages. Nicely reconstructed as it looked in the old days. The Isttor gate leads into the heart of the old town. And right next to the gate tower, you'll find the traditional Hotel Torbräu. Also, a lovely spot to stay right in the old city. It's just inside the old city walls. It's been thoroughly modernized. It's fully air-conditioned now. 4-star hotel, the Hotel Torbräu. And you see the rooms are quite spacious and comfortable and clean in that efficient German style. So if the Hotel Platzl is full and doesn't have any room, you might consider the Hotel Torbräu. There's a few other smaller hotels in the center, but most of those only have about 15 to 20 rooms. There are really only a couple of medium-sized hotels in the historic center, and there are no big hotels in the center itself. So it can be a little tricky finding a good spot to stay. You can always stay over by the train station, but that's a little bit outside the old town.